Hello everyone and welcome back. After a long break, I'm here to bring you once again a gameplay video. Today I bring you probably my second favorite deck after White Control, Midrange Nemesis or Purple Sacrifice or Purple Self-Destruction, whatever you wanna call it. My strategy is pretty self-explanatory. Play some dudes, kill said dudes, and bring them back, while exploiting self-destruction effects and bilateral destruction effects. So my opponent is playing a normal blue crush deck that you already saw in one of my other gameplay videos, and the early game continues just as normal. The only thing new is that I actually put out the Francis in favor of Warhammer Gordon. I don't know why I was playing Francis instead of Warhammer, since it's basically the same effect with the Crush +1. The level 2 effect of Francis is actually quite difficult to play with 10 cards in your opponent's graveyard to be on, and the core requirements for level 2 and level 3 of Francis are way too high for a Crush Spirit. You know, for all the blue players, you gotta play around the card mill number compared to the core cost. And since Warhammer Gordon has a level 2 with 2 cores with +1 on the crush effect, it's a strictly better card. So now we can actually see the spice that I added to my deck with the Ants Strike Back. It's a really aggressive card that also brings out spirits that I can destroy with, you can see Costume Artist on the board right now that has a destruction effect, self-destruction effect and draw on the attack, and Deadly Balance, the new card in VSS4, Double Deadly, and you know, Nemesis being the name of the deck. Right here, my opponent thought that Warhammer was enough to save him from my attack, but you know, Belde gotta exist. So GG, and let's go to game 2. Being a 3-minute game, I will give you a gift with a second game in the same video. I hope you will enjoy. And you know, the start, there's basically nothing that I can say that it wasn't already said. The lighthouse against my deck is actually pretty annoying. I can tell you that in my hand I had 2 Thorn Prison that is basically a flash spell only. You know, I can play it also in the main step, but I usually use it defensively. So I have basically 2 less cards in my hand, and the fact that I mulliganed my starting hand is actually pretty punishing. Block Golem, still a pretty discard. It's not active right now because it needs a Soul Core on his own Nexus. And another card that I want to talk about is the Dark Knight Lamorak. It's another spirit that can actually give the deck a name, because the second effect is one of the few effects that can recur and make the spirit I destroy myself come back to my hand or on the board. In this case is only to the hand and only in the attack step with the first spirit that dies, but is a hugely effect that can keep the aggression going for my purple. Nothing much even now. You know, I can talk about maybe Bell decor, but what I can say that you don't already know. I mean, it can come back on its own. It destroys something when it comes in play on some effect. I actually run 3 in my deck right now, you will see, because my only 4 drop is Lamorak. I don't have 5 drops. I used to play the Dark Knight that only summon effect swing 2 cores on a exhausted spirit, but I actually cut it out in favor of maybe core theft. Core theft is always a good card to have. So Subito is somewhat of a nuisance. I mean, the attack effect to destroy a 3 cost or less is quite strong, and 3 free card to mill to my deck is not that bad. So my opponent right now is making one of the cardinal sin to do against purple. And by that I mean playing cards with only 1 core on them. I have 2 Lamorak already on the field and I play Nemesis right now. So, okay, they didn't know about Nemesis, but you know, I can always play a Deadly Balance from the hand in the flash window. Right here you can see that my opponent exhausted a Nexus after the start of the phase. They already wanted to do it, so let's just fly over it. But let's go back by talking about the spirits with 1 core on them. So yeah, you cannot afford to have spirits with just 1 core on them. I don't play Cursed Dragon in this deck because I see it just too big of a cost to play with too little of a reward. And now you can see that the deck can actually crank up the aggression factor to a 2nd level. Other than Nemesis, all the other cards are pretty low costed. Maybe Dark Lancer is a 6 cost, but with 4 reduction, it's not too difficult to bring him about just paying 2 cores. The only thing that you gotta think about while playing a Nemesis deck is the actually reduction you have on the board, and by that I mean do not rush on the self-destruction effect. If you have a costume artist on the board and you attack with it, just don't go ape brain and sacrifice a spirit just to draw a card. Wait a minute, just wait another turn to establish a board. When you are ready, start destroy your thing. When you know that you can take a beating and jump back, you can do whatever. Just wait. In this situation, I mean, my opponent was actually pretty unlucky. 1 lighthouse was actually pretty strong. I still have my 2 Thorn Prison in hand. Actually, you can see here that I pitch 1 for a Core Theft. Remember, play Core Theft. Not only to destroy things, but also in these situations. but they draw 2 other lighthouse, so you know it's a card game and you gotta play around luck sometime. And I think that this will be game. Yeah, and they have nothing, and GG to my opponent. The first match was actually pretty lightning fast. Unstrike Back is a card that can surprise your opponent just with the fastness factor. And well, I mean, the second game was actually more balanced, and I hope you enjoyed the 2 matches, purple against blue, and I will see you maybe soon for a card review for BSS4, so go ahead and subscribe, and I will see you to the next video. Bye bye.